As this customer came all the way from Missouri, he's basically here for a top and a clutch. I mean, as my dad would say, I'm going to quote my dad again, he never watches these videos so he's not going to get the humor. How many shops does he pass to get to your shop? What makes your shop so special? Let me try and answer that. Because we are treating this car like our car, and I can't express that enough. Every time I drop my car off or something of my car off to get work done, it gets screwed up. Something doesn't get done right. I end up having to fix the mistake, and it just irks me to a point where all it does is reassure us that we're doing the right thing and to treat this car like it's mine. If I sent this car, George knows it too. George wouldn't be able to send his car anywhere because he's so picky the way he does things. He has the same mindset, which is how we work here, which is why it's going to be so difficult for us to hire a new guy. Most people are looking at this of how much money does this make, how much money does that make. I need to make as max money as I can. I don't want to give anything away because then I'm losing money. And it's the wrong mindset. It's kind of like this. We're not going to get paid to clean this when it comes out.
No, we're not.
No, you're not getting. It's part of the job.
Oh.
Part of the job. It's just part. It's in your contract.
No, okay.
Which I forgot to tell you. I signed it while you was away.
Okay, no big deal.
Yeah, I signed it because I knew you was busy on vacation. So this is one of those things, and it's just what I would want someone to do for me. And the fact that this dude came all the way from Missouri is crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook this guy up with a battery master cylinder. That's new, by the way. Battery master cylinder.
Battery master cylinder?
It's new. I hadn't told you about that.
Those. It's pretty good.
It's brand new. We haven't even produced it yet. VTEC solenoid cap, the LH. We're going to call it the Trio. It's the Black Series Trio. The VTEC cap, the battery tie down. As you see, it's kind of falling apart. This is pretty typical of the battery ties. And a master cylinder. And if I can see anything else that we want to hook him up with, it's just a thank you.
The Trio includes soup, salad, and breadsticks as well.
That's right. Yeah, we'll ship that to your house. FedEx overnight, Saturday morning delivery. So this is a passionate thing, and it's something I like to share. We have a lot of passion for what we do, and we really appreciate our customers choosing us out of the hundreds of shops that are out there. They come to a tiny little shop in the middle of nowhere, and we do our best to return the favor. All right, so has any of you guys seen this before? This is a ginormous cover, actually for the S2000. I want to give a big thank you to Mike Larson. He gave us this. This was something that was issued by Honda. I guess nobody uses them anymore, but it's a nice way to protect the car while you're working on the top. And like we talked about before, we're extra careful anyway. I don't know if we're going to be using this from, all the time, just because I'm always afraid if the car comes in and there's a whole bunch of dust on it, and then you put this on it and then you rub on it, it could cause more problems. The trick is, don't rest on this, don't lay on this.
Normally the top comes with these.
That's what we use.
Chuck them up there.
Yeah, but the trick is, don't use this as a belly holder and reach across here. That's just a no-no, because this isn't a crash helmet. It will cause damage in there. But just wanted to show you that, because that's a really nice cover. And again, it's just not so much laying on it, it's maybe if you drop a screw, if you're picking up a screw here and you drop it, it's going to give the paint a little bit of protection, but I still wouldn't rest on it. I don't know how many times I've said that in that video. Somebody's going to mention it. Comment below, how many times did I say don't rest on the paint. This, of course, it's getting the new rubbers. It had the aftermarket ones. There's a company that makes it where you wrap it around. It has two pins that stick in the rivet, which it's a way of doing it without taking the top off to drill the rivets out. We're going to do it the Honda way. We're going to drill the rivets out, put the new upgraded elastic in, rivet it back on, do it the right way, just because that's the way Honda does it. And we believe there is very few things better than Honda, so we're going to do it their way.
The car that's in for today and tomorrow is also getting a thermostat. Here is a brand new OEM thermostat. Here is a thermostat with 82,000 miles. They look pretty much the same. This one is a lot shinier and nicer, and it's not wet yet. This is the one that's going in the car. Now, I haven't talked about it yet, but this car is getting one of these because this one's old.
All original equipment, we're replacing it with factory Honda stuff. Factory Honda pressure plate, not the Exetti from eBay, for 199 bucks. This sucker is expensive. but it is the best. Same as the disc right here. It is the factory Honda one. It's got Honda stamping on it. Good old peachy bearing. Like we say in our videos, we're going to replace the boot because this boot does usually get old, so you're going to not have this rubbery feel. It's not going to seal as well, and often this flange breaks off. You've seen the videos, I won't talk about it too much. Again, the slide, this is for the bearing right here. The bearing slides on here. It often gets a groove in here, so we replace that. And then the transmission main seal. What do you got there, George?
The car on the lift, Starbucks card.
All right.
Which means we get one of these each.
That's fantastic. You know, we are slowly replacing Esther, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Between you getting coffee, me
emails.
Email and not answering the phone. All right, welcome to Country Friday. It's our Country Friday working on this S2000 in a truck playing music in the parking lot. Just to give you an update, if you can hear me over the country music, this is what it looks like when you take the slide off. Can you guys hear me at the back? This is Country Friday. Country all the time. That's where the slide goes, but before you put the slide on, take it off real quick, George. That's the seal. A lot of people with sold the kit to, and they go, what does this other seal do? If you take the slide off, that's the seal that you're going to replace. Again, there is seal tools, there is all kinds of little tricks. I'm not going to show you our trick because I don't want you to get half stuck with it, then think that we've caused your problems. But that's the seal that you're going to look for. That's the one that you're going to change before you put the slide on there. Alright, so these are the two seals. This is your transmission main seal, if you can hear me over the Country Friday music. This is the seal that we include, and then the larger one right here is the main seal on the engine. This is exposed. Once you take the clutch and flywheel off, you'll see that seal. So unbelievably, the factory drive shaft bolts came out. They usually don't. Any of you guys that are doing a clutch on a 2000 to 2003, be prepared to fight with these bolts. Often there's a few options to get them out, a few tricks. I'm not going to share those with you right now because it'll make for a boring video. But what we always do is replace them with these. So if you buy a clutch kit from us for a 2000 to 2003, we include these bolts. They're not an extra fee if you just pay our clutch price. These are much harder. They're a 12.9. Biggest improvement is they're a deeper socket there where the Allen goes in, or the hex, whatever you call it. It's deeper. There is less chance of slipping. Again, if you take them out and replace them at any time, if you're doing a clutch in the future, these will be reusable. They're not going to round off like the factory ones. Okay, so one of the things on his list is to check the axle nuts. Now, if you haven't heard about this or seen it, often when you go from stop to forward to reverse, basically load and unload, well, often it is the axle nuts which is behind this cover. I always recommend you do this first because this is essentially a cheap, well, it's not even cheap, it's a free change or a free modification. It's not even a modification, it's just kind of addressing a potential issue. But behind this cover, there is a nut that is attached to the axle that torques the axle. Often the axle will actually have a little bit of movement back and forth. It's a spline similar to how a clutch spline is. And by loading and unloading, you'll get like a click. If you retorque the nut behind here, 99% of the time it fixes the issue. Let me show you it real quick. So torquing it back to factory specs, you can see here that the peened area is now past where it was before, which means we've actually got more torque on that nut. And a lot of it is because we reduced the friction on the threads and the surface. So don't forget, peen that area over, which is basically just like a lock for your nut, stop the nut backing off. So this cover has been refinished, but one of the finishes that I don't like is where it's used like one of those sanding wheels or a whiz wheel, some people call them. Can't really tell in the light, but the scratch marks, the sand marks are all over the place. They're not consistent, it's not factory looking, but the cover looks good. Somebody has done a basically nice wrinkle. We're going to put it on our sander and show you the difference when we're done with it.
This is how we do them. If you look now, all the sanding lines are going one direction. It appears brighter and doesn't have any shadowing effect. Under the hood, the way it was done originally, it had like almost a shadowing effect to where none of it looked as bright as it did when you did this. If you looked at it from the angle like you look at it under the hood, it almost looked shadowed. Now, It looks very even.
All right, so the car is done. I just talked to him. He had mentioned he was interested in doing the UK mod, or should I say UK mod. So we just have the thermostat. We are doing the fill in the system. We have a vacuum bleeder too, and just to be honest, this system we've been using for years works better than the vacuum system. It's much more accurate. And this was, we used to have an old yellow funnel here, and one of our followers, and I'm sorry I can't remember your name, who it was, but he sent us that. Go ahead and comment below. He just sent this and said, you guys need a better funnel than your yellow one, so thank you for that. Backstory, I am from England, but my accent has got all kind of crazy because I've been here for 27 years, and it comes and goes. It's a little bit funky. A lot of people have no clue where I'm from. I don't know where I'm from. I've been here 27 years, and I've been in England for however many years. I'm not going to tell you. That's George.
I've been here for 36 years.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
We're going to do the UK mod in your best English accent. Can you describe what that is?
It's cracking good, mate.
Did I used to say that? I might have done. Oh yeah, by the way, if you talk to an English person, ask them what time tea time is. They love that. You know, it's like a regimented time in the country, the whole... Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Hey, if the Queen does it, you have to do it.
Yeah, she shuts down at 3 o'clock, drinks tea. Let's put it up. I'm going to show you what the UK mod consists of. If you're interested in a little bit more sound without being annoying, the UK mod might be for you. Now, sit back before you start commenting. Quick comment guys, the negative guys, the I've got to find something wrong with the video guys. Guys, just take a break. Chill out for a second. I gotta say, when he first asked for the blue top, George and I both looked at each other, and even George asked him twice, are you sure you want the blue top? And we both agreed now it's on the car. I actually like it. And George was the first one that came out and he said, you know what, I like that blue on the silver. And I thought it was just because he'd been in the heat too long because we didn't have the fan running. But now we have the fans running. That's the bottle of champagne across the front of the ship. I actually like it. It does look good. Now it looks brighter in camera than it does in person, but I kind of like it. You can call me nuts if you want. You can call me whatever you want, as long as you don't comment below negative. So I like it. Let's put it up. Let's do the UK mod. So if you didn't see the video of our big ass fan, this thing is still amazing, by the way. It's the quietest fan you have ever seen, and it moves a large volume of oil. So, oil? Anyway, the UK mod, what does it consist of? Well, if you've never seen these mufflers before, they're a pretty intricate, complicated muffler if you ever cut one apart. Well, the UK mod, and I couldn't tell you if it's actually performed this way or if it comes from the factory on a UK car, but it's known as the UK mod. I don't know why. We're basically connecting this to that. It bypasses half the muffler, and it's a really nice sound without getting obnoxious and drony. And for 90% of the people out there, it's just the noise they're looking for to enjoy the car without it getting annoying or out without upsetting their wife or their girlfriend or their neighbors. It gives it just that little bit of sound.
Alright, we've told you about the UK mod before. You take two pipes, you fit them, you run one of these pipes into this one, just like that. Now I know we're not going to show you the whole process, but I do have a secret to show you here. Now this is the UK mod, right? If you want it to be banging, be real smart, sound cracking, the secret, little HP sauce. So once you get everything fit, okay, you take the pipe, you put a little bit in there, just like that. All right, you can't forget this step. You fit it back in there and weld it up. Promise, mate, it'll sound good. Alright, so that's it welded in. Just one tube, front to back. Remember the secret I told you about? That makes it sound just right.
Alright, so let's get a sound of this UK mod, give you an idea here. See, it's not too loud. It's got a good sound. I tell you, it smells good back here. Smell it. That's crazy. You smell that? Yeah, that's idle right there. Just bring it up a little bit in the RPMs. Yeah, so it's just a hair louder, but it's not raspy or drony. Oh, that's it. Again, UK mod, not to be confused with the Irish mod or the Scottish mod or the Canadian mod. UK mod, check it out. Really, really good idea. A little bit more sound without being obnoxious. So this is good. We're gonna drive it real quick, just make sure everything is good. Make sure the clutch is happy and it's adjusted right. We'll call this customer, and nobody tell him about these 3 things here. We're not gonna tell him. Hopefully he'll open the hood and notice it. If not, he'll watch the video. So to this customer, thank you so much for making the trip and the Starbucks card, which we exercised this morning, courtesy of George. Thank you, George.
What do we used to say? It's worth the trip or worth the drive?
It is worth both.
Because I don't think we've said that in a while.
It is worth the trip and worth the drive.